Alright, the go live button now says end stream. Okay, that's a good thing. Now, I'm sitting here in the dashboard, and YouTube has this little notification below the video that says the audio stream's bitrate is lower than it's recommended to be. So I just want to make sure. Can you guys hear me? Because if you guys can hear me, and you can hear the LittleBigPlanet music, then YouTube, you can stop telling me to increase my bitrate. And it actually did. It now says excellent connection. That's great. Alright, so now just to make sure everything is good to go. I see Tobias in the chat. That's cool. I see Polygon Nostalgia in the chat. Took me a while to read the name there, but oh well. And I see... I can't read that. I am way too blind. I actually have... Okay, there's one more thing I need to do here. I need to go into OBS and right-click PS3 capture, and I just need to go ahead and select which monitor I want this to be full screen on, and I'm gonna go with the Samsung one. Alright. Alright, so that all seems to be working. Okay. I can actually see the game now. Yeah, the servers got shut down, a few weeks ago, or last week I think it was, and it's temporary. They're working on it. There's rumors in the community that Sumo has patched out .ff scripts from being uploaded, but as far as I'm concerned, and as far as Michael Youngling is concerned, it's a rumor right now. We don't have any way to verify that it's true. There's not been any official statement from Sumo Digital or PlayStation regarding the LBP server situation, but I'm hoping that that rumor is true, that they have patched out those scripts from being able to be uploaded, and then if they have, then at this point they're probably just going through all of everyone's profiles and just reversing the damage. I just got a DM on Discord. Let's read that real quick. Alright. I'm gonna go do not disturb on Discord just so that people don't bother me. But I will still be reading hashtag chat in the Alkaline Thunder Discord server. So if you want to join that server, go ahead. I'm gonna try to read both the YouTube chat and that server. But I will warn you guys that, like I said in the description, I am blind, so I might not read or respond to chat as quickly as I would like to, especially when I have two chat windows open right now. But anyway. So, yeah, before we start this off, if you do want to join the Discord server, those of you from Trixel, I would really love to see you guys there. I did post a link to the stream in the share channel on Trixel's Discord. And if you'd like to join my server, then I highly recommend it, because I'm going to be a lot more active on there than I will be on, say, Twitter and stuff like that. And it'll give you a really good way to see things that I'm working on even when I'm not streaming or making videos. So I'd love to see you there if you join. There's a link in the description. It'll take you to my website. That's a permanent Discord invite. So also my website got redesigned and moved to a new domain, so that's fun. I'm still working on that. But anyway, that's all the announcements and stuff done. Let's actually start this stream. Um... Uh... I lost my train of thought for a second. You would think that after like 3 cups of coffee I'd be fine, but... Anyway, so... Welcome to the stream, everybody. I'm sure there are probably gonna be more people joining in later on. As people in Trix will start to notice, because they're a really cool community, and this stream is like right up their alley, so... I'm excited for that. But anyway, this is a Create Mode stream. I have no plan for this stream. This is not like the last stream I did where I was gonna play through LBP Story Mode and you know, try to get through it, which, by the way, I never did. I never did finish it. And then the servers went down, so that's great. I just kinda wanna mess around in Create Mode right now, because I've been so busy with actual programming lately that I haven't actually been able to play LBP. I guess that's sort of a good thing, given that the servers are down. But you know, Create Mode is... You don't need to be online for Create Mode, so I figured I would do a stream and hang out with you guys for a while. I'm hoping I end up with something that's remotely playable after this, but I don't know. I doubt it. I'm not entirely sure what I want to create right now. I kinda want to create a pinball level type thing. That was kind of my first thought last night, when I was thinking up what I was gonna do in this stream, so I think I'm actually gonna do pinball. Which is gonna be insanely difficult for me. I have never done pinball before in LittleBigPlanet. I've not even done pinball in real programming. So frick, where do I even begin? Normally in my Little Big Game Dev series, I would do a game design document for this, but in this case, because we're on a live stream right now, and I've only got a few hours to start working on this, I'm not gonna do a live stream. Brain fart! I appear to have had a moment there. I'm not gonna do a game design document for this, because that's just time that we don't have. So I'm kinda just gonna jump into this with no plan. Pinball, I kinda know how it works. I mean, most people probably do. You have a ball, it's a pinball, you have flippers, and you have things that you hit the ball on to get points, and you gotta keep the ball on the board, make sure it doesn't go below the flippers and hit the bottom of the board, or bottom of the pinball machine, and yeah. That's pinball in a nutshell, explained by a very not planned live streamer. I'm gonna start making the flippers, and I'm gonna go with... I'm gonna use some of the Avalonia materials, because I really like them. The Avalonia materials I find are really clean, to be honest. So I'm gonna start by making some sort of flipper. Which I'm gonna use this material for. Now flippers, they need to, of course, flip, so they're gonna be dynamic physics. And I need the grid to be... Well, we'll go with medium. And I'm gonna smear this out by 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And this is the annoying part, because now I have to corner edit the thing and make it into something that more resembles a flipper. This is where I'm excited for Restitched, because if they add a corner editor, they probably might. Or they probably already have. I don't know. But if they add a corner editor, it's gonna be controlled with the mouse, and that's so much easier than using an analog stick, but I think this looks good enough. I mean, I'm not too happy about this little artifacting going on here with the materials bevel, but it'll work. So now I need to actually make this, you know, a flipper. And make it so that I can suspend it in midair. So we're gonna use my good old friend, the translucent sticker panel. Alright. And I'll line that up. And now I need a small grid. So that I can line it up even better. Maybe a little more. Alright, that'll do. Okay. So for this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up some sort of mechanism whereby I can give it a signal, and the flipper, you know, bounces up, or flips up. And if it doesn't have that signal, it doesn't flip up. So, for decoration purposes, and so that I can suspend the object, or attach the object to the sticker panel, I'm going to use a regular bolt. That is very drunk. That's not what I wanted to do at all. I'm not entirely sure why there is no form of, like, gravity to this, like, it just keeps swinging back and forth with no deceleration whatsoever. What is... Oh, there's a little tiny bit of deceleration going on, I can tell. But, so I'm gonna attach a microchip to this whole ordeal here, and that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it an ordeal. I wouldn't attach a microchip like that. That looks very haphazard, but that'll work. So just a second to read chat here, because I do see things going on in the peripheral version. LittleBigPlanet rejects the concepts of friction and air resistance. Yeah, there's probably some sort of weird LittleBigPlanet 3 reason why this flipper keeps doing, you know, this. There's probably some reason for it. It's probably to do with the sticker panel, I don't know. And honestly, it's weird the way LittleBigPlanet works, but you know, what do you do? That's how we fix that. And then for this, we need to go ahead and try to align it so that it's straight. And there, now it looks much less haphazard. And the way we're gonna get this to... Oh shit. The way we're gonna get this to, you know, flip when we give it a signal is using a gyroscope. So a gyroscope, what that essentially does is when you give it a signal, or when you just have it on the board, whatever direction this little arrow at the top here is pointing, that's how the object is going to rotate. So it's going to rotate so that the arrow is pointing upward. So if I unpause it, you'll see now that the bolt is no longer affecting the object. That's because the gyroscope here, it's calling the shots. So the way we're going to make this work is we're going to pause the game, and we're going to place 2 of these. And I'm going to place them at 45-degree angles. So set my rotation interval to 45 degrees, and I'm going to place one like this. And I'm going to copy it and place one like this. So now what we need to do is we need to come up with some sort of way to make sure that only one of them is active, and the way we do that is with a simple NOT gate. So I need a NOT gate, and what we do is we wire the NOT gate into the one that we would like it to be when the signal is not active. Or when the signal we're going to eventually send to this is not active. So when the player is not pushing the flipper button, I would like to have this NOT gate active. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to wire it into this one. Alright. And then now we need some sort of way to control this. So for now, I'm just going to use another piece of sticker panel that is static physics and fully transparent and has a microchip on it. I should really create some sort of like, I was gonna say prefab, but it's not called a prefab in LittleBigPlanet. Unity developers would know what I meant by that, but I should create some sort of like predefined object that I can just grab, and it's just a piece of sticker panel with a microchip on it, and there. Why did I go into there? That's not what I wanted to do. So I need a battery for this, and the battery is just temporary. It's so that I have something for a signal. So I'm going to put the battery on this board, and then I'm going to take the wire out of it and place a circuit node on this board, which is going to create a circuit input. And then what we do is we wire the circuit input into the NOT gate, and then into the rotate, or into the gyroscope that we want active when the signal is active. So I messed that up. Oh wait, no I didn't. See, since the battery's active, the game has shut off the NOT gate's output, which has allowed this gyroscope to activate, and as you can see, it is making sure that the arrow is pointing up toward the ceiling, which causes the object to rotate like this. And then, if I take the battery and set the signal to 0%, and unpause the game, the battery's gonna shut off, and the NOT gate is going to activate, causing this gyroscope to activate. And then it's gonna point at the ceiling. So I'm realizing that one thing I might want to do is increase the strength of it. Rotation speed. I don't know why it's measured in degrees? That kind of seems like a weird way to measure a speed value, to be honest. And I'm just gonna check chat here. This is looking awesome so far. You're providing a lot of information without it sounding too complex. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that because when I'm actually programming, I get so in the zone that, like, I'll be typing out code and I'll be narrating, okay, we're gonna do this dot whatever, and then pass whatever into this dot whatever, and I won't explain what the hell I'm doing that for. So I'm glad to hear that I am at least improving on my ability to explain what I'm doing and why, so... I didn't think that gyroscope or... Oh wait, I don't think that's one directed at me. You didn't think that gyroscope was something useful? For a while, I didn't either. My approach to this would have been to, like, use some sort of wobble bolt or something to do it, but I was messing around with a pinball level before the servers shut down, and I could not get it to work reliably with a wobble bolt. But anyway, so I'm just gonna go through and check these strengths to make sure that they are 100%. I want to go through and try to increase the batteries that it... actually, there is a much quicker way to do this. The way we can do this for now is we can use a 2-port selector. Or we could use a NOT gate. I don't know. Does it have an invert? Oh, it does. That is strange. Why would you use... Why would you invert the output of a NOT gate? Isn't that the whole point of a NOT gate? But anyway... that actually does make things more convenient in this case, because I can go in and tweak the NOT gate and invert the output, and then that allows me to shut things off and see how it works. So if I zoom out, I just want to make sure. So now it's no longer doing the weird thing where it goes limp and completely loses its strength while it changes gyroscopes, so that's good. But I do want to increase the speed. I'm gonna increase it to maybe 720. I don't fully understand why the speed units are in degrees. That just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's degrees per second or something. Oh, it's what it seems like. But... actually, now that I think about it, that's how I would do it in code too, so it does make sense. So let's go in... oh, excuse me, I keep hiccuping. Now let's go in and make sure this is nice and fast. And it looks pretty fast. So that's good enough that if you were, like, pressing L1 or R1, it would be responsive, and you would be able to hit the ball with quite enough force. So I'm going to delete this entire sticker panel here. And now this circuit has no more input. And that's okay. Because what we're about to do is we're actually going to go ahead and, first of all, we're going to rotate this so that the circuit board is straight. Because I don't know about you, but working with sideways and rotated circuit boards is not a fun experience. But either way, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace that circuit input with a remote tag sensor. And these are really great. Not only are they great for optimizing dynamic thermometer levels, but as you'll soon see when we get further into this, our pinball is going to have a controlinator in it, which allows Sackboy to enter the pinball and effectively control it. And although Sackboy won't be able to move the pinball around directly, what he will be able to do is press L1 and R1 to cause the flippers to, you know, flip. And we don't want to wire those controls directly into each flipper, because it makes things really, really cumbersome if we, say, want to rearrange the pinball machine and add new flippers to it and stuff like that. So what we're instead going to do is we're going to add a remote tag sensor to the flipper with a label on it, and then later on, when we press the R1 button or whatever, we're going to broadcast a tag with that same label and color, and that's going to send a signal to the flipper wherever the pinball is in the level, or however many flippers there are in the level. So it's a way of doing wireless communication. So I'm going to enter a new label here, and this is where I am really glad that I have a shelf now up above my computer monitors, because I'm going to grab my physical tablet Folio keyboard here, and I'm just going to unfold it and make sure that it's connected to the PS3 over Bluetooth, and, you know, I think the watch battery in it might be almost dead, I don't know. Oh, it was working. Okay, I prefer to use a physical keyboard for the PS3. It's quicker, but anyway, we're going to treat this... This is the left flipper, so we're going to call it the left flipper. Alright. Left flipper. So we grab our controller and select that label. And then we're going to place the tag on the board. And then instead of wiring into this NOT gate from a circuit input, I'm going to wire in from here. And then I'm going to wire into this one as well. So now our circuit is completely self-contained. And it has decided to properly flip. So now I can go in and adjust the gyroscopes depending on how I want the board to rotate, and that's awesome. So I should now be able to go in and copy-paste this. But I'm not going to yet. I would like to actually adjust these gyroscopes here. Because 45-degree angles seems like it's a little bit much, so instead of that, I'm going to go back to a 5-degree increment, and we're gonna rotate. Oh, I should have paused the game. Oops. Anyway, I'm gonna rotate this 1, 2, 3, 4 units. And I'm going to rotate this one 1, 2, 3, 4 units in the other direction. So that's a little bit better. That looks a little bit more like I would see in a real pinball machine. So that's the left flipper. Let's do the right flipper, and we can copy-paste this. And flip it. Regrid ourselves. There we go. It's always good to align your objects to a grid after you flip it, because it makes things a hell of a lot less headache-inducing. But as you can see, the gyroscopes have automatically flipped themselves because we actually flipped the circuit board, and everything is good to go in that regard, but except for one thing. This needs a new label, because as you can see, it's labeled with left flipper. This isn't the left flipper anymore, this is the right flipper. And if you've played a pinball game on a console, you know that there are separate controls for each flipper. You have one for the right flipper and one for the left. So we're going to set that up right now by simply going in here, and instead of typing in left flipper... Come on, Mr. Controller, or Mr. Bluetooth keyboard, you can do it. I don't think the delete key actually works on it. That's strange. But anyway, there's our right flipper. Hit enter, and there now the label is there. So this tag is going to send out a signal when we broadcast a left flipper or a right flipper label, and the other flipper is going to get a signal when we broadcast a left flipper label. Alrighty. Will be cool if we can use a USB mouse as how it called. As a lasso. Yeah, in Restitched, I'm really excited to see how they do their PC controls, especially in construction mode. LittleBigPlanet Create Mode is pretty intuitive. I can get things done pretty quickly in it. But it would be a lot faster with a mouse and keyboard. Especially with magic mouths and tag labels and stuff like that. And when you get more experience with LittleBigPlanet level creation, tags start to become a thing you frequently use. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting in Restitch to see how they implement the controls and interface for their construction mode. I'm really excited. But anyway, now we need a pinball. Now, here's the problem. I'm pretty sure that the pinball asset in the goodies bag is unlocked through LittleBigPlanet 3 story mode. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I see plastic. I can't read that. That is strange. Plastic band ball, that's what that says. I see a golf ball, that's not exactly useful to us. So I don't have an actual pinball. That's not great. So we're gonna have to improvise and, use a basketball. It's close enough. I'm sure it's bouncy. And if it's not bouncy, we can use physics tweakers to make it bouncy. And we're gonna decrease the size of said basketball. And we're gonna make sure that it can at least interact with the objects in the level. As you can tell, it is not exactly bouncy, but that's okay. We're going to be adding a controlinator to it anyway. So we'll be able to add things like physics tweakers and stuff like that. So, let's get this started. First thing, of course, we need is a controlinator. Sackboy needs to be able to get into this pinball, quote-unquote. So in this case, I'm going to... I don't think this object is gridded. Let's go ahead and grid that. There we go. But we need a controlinator and not a movinator. A controlinator, so that Sackboy can, of course, get in the ball. And I cannot shrink this controlinator down any further than it already is, so that's great. Anyway, so this controlinator, I'm going to have it as layer awareness 16. So that means that no matter what layer we spawn in, I mean we're going to spawn in the front layer, but as for peace of mind I'm doing this, we're going to be able to sense Sackboy. And then the radius, you cannot do infinite in a controlinator, so I'm going to have it high enough that wherever I spawn in the level, I'm going to end up in the pinball area. So there we go. And then I'm going to have auto enter enabled, and players is going to be the lead player, which, by the way, this is going to have to be a single player level because it's a little more complicated to set up multiplayer. I don't know particularly how to do multiplayer levels in LittleBigPlanet when it comes to controlinators and stuff like this, so oh well. But show circuit board, that doesn't really matter for play mode, so whatever. The important one here is visible in play mode. That that has to be no. And that's because if we go into play mode, we would like to see a pinball. Like, we'd like to see our, our basketball. I'm calling it a pinball from now on. We'd like to see the ball and not a controlinator. We don't want to see Sackboy sitting in the ball. We don't want any of that. So we just want Sackboy to enter the ball, and then that is our character from now on. So visible in play mode of the controlinator lets you do that. So while we're on the subject of the pinball and getting it to work, since we have a controlinator set up here, let's go ahead and set up our tag sensors, or our actual tags for the flippers. So I'm going to place 2 tags, and I'm going to, before I actually tweak them and make sure that they use their correct labels, I'm going to wire up their controls. So this one's going to be on R1, the top one. And the bottom one is going to be on L1. So this is similar to how the controls are in the Pain pinball levels for the PS3 if you've played that game. And also Zen pinball, I believe, is the same controls. But anyway, L1 is going to be the left flipper. And R1 is going to be the right flipper. So if we, so I'm gonna do something a little weird. I'm gonna take this basketball and I'm gonna move it into position, as if it was gonna fall onto a flipper. Alright. I'm gonna pause the game and go into preview and then oh, you can't enter preview with the L or with the left stick when you're in a controlinator. Okay. And there's also a weird issue where if you exit a controlinator and you are still in range. Okay, there we go. So, we're in our pinball. As you can see, it looks like Sackboy is not even in the level. That's good, that's what we wanted. So we're gonna fall down. And I hit L1 there, and as you can see, the flipper hit us. Or, flipper hit the ball. So, that's working. Those controls are working. So I'm gonna... While I'm in the pinball here, I'm actually gonna tweak it, and it ejected me. That's great. Thank you, LittleBigPlanet. I love you for that. I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna move it over here, and I'm gonna test the other tag. So, we're in the pinball, and as you can see, it works. So our controls, they work. Awesome. Okay, so that is basically all of the controlinator stuff for a pinball game, except for controlling the plunger, which is a little bit different, but... so what we're gonna do... What we're gonna do now is we're gonna set up the physics of our little pinball here. And the reason I want to modify the physics is because generally a pinball is bouncy, and in fact the actual pinball asset that you can unlock in LittleBigPlanet 3 is itself bouncy. But in this case, that's not the case. It's not bouncy at all. So I believe it's a material tweaker you need to make it more bouncy. So we have our bounciness tweak. I'm going to set this to something sensible, like 60% maybe. And friction, I'm going to set to 80%. Actually, no, I'm going to keep it at 100%. Friction just determines how much influence other materials have on the object as it slides down, how much the object will decelerate. So, and this doesn't need any controls. I'm just gonna plop it right here. Right at the bottom corner. And I'm gonna let the level play. As you can see, we bounced a little bit off of our flipper, and then we bounced off the bottom of the level. So that's cool. Now what we need is some actual level design. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do at all. First of all, we need the ball here to be gridded again, and with its proper rotation. Oh god, what did I do? So we need some sort of actual pinball machine level type thing. And this is where things get complicated, because I'm good with advanced logic. In fact, I even wrote my own advanced logic simulation in C# and .NET. I know what I'm doing with advanced logic. I'm somewhat good at, you know, grayboxing a level, as you can probably tell from LBP Game Dev. What I am not good at is making a level actually look decent. So bear with me as I try to make this live on a live stream. Yeah. This is gonna be complicated. I'm gonna go with an Avalonia theme, first of all, so, you know. There we go. There's all our Avalonia stuff. So, I'm going to, you know, be a little creative here. And I'm gonna use some circuit boards, that type material, for the actual little... I don't know what to call it, thingy, that I would like to have. I am losing my train of thought today. I'm about to check chat very soon, but I would like to use some circuit board for this little piece here. Actually, I screwed that up totally. So I want to be medium grid. There we go. There, I'm gridded up, so I'm gonna go smear this by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to increase my rotation interval to 45 degrees. Grab my poppet cursor and rotate this. What the hell is happening there? Oh, this is a thin layer, that's why. Or this is a thin material. I was wondering why it was allowing me to to intersect the flipper, but that's why. It was totally messed up. So that's that. You can probably tell what I'm trying to design here, even though it's not great looking. What I'm trying to go for here is a little bit of a, you know... I actually don't know what it's called. I'll be honest. A thing that the pinball can slide down. That's what I'm going for right now. And we have a slight problem. It's not gridded up properly. That is a big problem with rotating objects in LittleBigPlanet, is when you rotate something or when you flip it, it becomes ungridded and you can't really... I mean, I can sort of grid it back up, but it's not gonna be totally fully gridded. This is gonna take me a little bit. I've basically accepted at this point that it's not gonna look great. But... alright. So that's what I was going for here. A little bit of a thing that the pinball can slide down, and then it'll, you know, it'll hit the flipper. And maybe I can go in and with a small grid and then, you know, move it even closer. Kinda, sort of, maybe. Another thing I might be able to get away with is some quick sculpting of the material with the corner editor, and... kind of like narrowing it out here. That way it does kind of transition a little better from being, you know, this kind of shape to, like, the flipper. So there we go. That seems to work fairly well, but there's not exactly a whole lot to interact with right now as far as, you know, keeping the ball in the level. So, first of all, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to place it. And then I'm going to grab it and then make sure that I can actually... So I think that's symmetrical. It looks okay. Alright. It looks okay. I think we're good. So yeah. And we have more people in the hat, which is awesome. We have Scully the Gamer. Scully the Gamer. Welcome to the hat. Stick EE. Or Stick, as you would, or as he says in his Crixel Creative introduction. Welcome to the chat. I'm just reading up on here as there to see if anyone else joined. So it looks like it's from earlier. I'm also going to go ahead and see. So Tobias says, now I'm curious where that circuit board feature is from. The circuit board feature, as Stick said, is from LittleBigPlanet 2. And then they moved it into LittleBigPlanet Vita and all that stuff. And then, okay. Which circuit board did they take photos of? I'm not sure what they took photos of, to be honest. Tobias says, have you considered joining the Alkaline Thunder Discord server? That is totally a regular server and not a cult revolving around sacrificing souls to Sackboy? What? Tobias, I did not know you said texter. I misread it, okay? But yes, now I understand the question now. I don't know where they took the I don't know where they got the circuit board texture, but I do know that it's different depending on what type of circuit board it is. Like with sequencers, it does look a little different, so that seems like it was handmade for sequencers, like it's got stripes to it. And those stripes make sense. Each stripe is a single... I was gonna say a single second, but you can actually tweak how many seconds a stripe lasts, but... yeah, you get the point. Anyway. Lost my train of thought. What was I gonna do? I got so hung up on the chat trying to read it, and I forgot what I was gonna do here. I was going to make bumpers. That's what I was gonna do. This is gonna be complicated. Bumpers are like... something kind of like these, but not really. Or should I say these, but smaller, I guess? So let's try to make this work a little bit better with the corner editor. Oh god. This is where a mouse and keyboard would be really handy. So let's try to align this up with that corner at the bottom. Alright, we're good. And try to align it a little better with... actually... let's delete this one. I'm not great with 3D modeling. I'm pretty sure I failed that course in college. And I did not want to create a new corner. Oops. Fun fact, though, for 3D modeling is very, very, very similar to corner editor, but in 3D in some scenarios. It's a little different, but... you know. Semantics. Anyway, I don't like that there's a sharp corner here, but I don't really care either, so whatever. But what this is going to be is it's going to be a little bit of a bumper. So the ball hits this, and bumpers, the ball bounces off them, and you earn points. That's how that works. So let's set up an actual way for bumpers to give the player points. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to have one actual score giver in the level, and I'm going to use remote tag sensors and stuff to actually, actually no, not remote tag sensors, I meant impact sensors, to actually go ahead and... What the hell happened here? It's sideways, that's weird. Let's go ahead and rotate it like that. Alright. I'm going to use tagged inputs, or a tagged impact sensor, so that if we hit an object with a certain tag, we're going to pulse and give ourselves points. So what I mean by pulse is I have a microchip that I actually created for the sake of the Pokemon levels that I'm working on, and this is a one-shot microchip. So it takes an input, generates a single pulse for a single LittleBigPlanet frame, and then shuts itself off until a new signal is received. So, the way this is going to work is I'm going to take a score giver from the gameplay section. Give me a moment while I figure out which one is the score giver. It is this one, I believe. Score giver. And if you don't play LittleBigPlanet, all this is an object that you give it a signal and it gives you points. So, it is already set to one shot, but... Or actually, no, that's not one shot. That is not what it's set to at all. That is the currency. In LittleBigPlanet 3, there are two types of score you can get. There's score, which is decidedly not a currency, and then there's collectibles, which is something that in adventure maps you can actually go into certain levels, and they act as sort of stores where you can buy costumes and stuff like that using your collectibles. But in this case, we don't care about collectibles. We're not making any sort of store or any sort of marketplace or anything, so we're just going to keep the currency set to score, and then I'm going to set the value that we want to give, not to 100, but to 50. I don't know why it increments in hundreds, but... So every time this score giver is triggered, it's going to give all players in the level 50 points. There's only going to be one level, or one player, which is why I made that joke. Anyway. So we take the output of the one-shot chip that I made, which, by the way, a one-shot, if you want to know how to make it, is just a timer, set to 0.1 seconds length, with the input method of start count up, and then you have an input wired into the timer's input, when you wire the timer into the circuit output and also into the timer's reset pin. And that gives you a one-shot chip. And by the way, that'll work the same exact way in my auto logic key program. You can make the exact same microchip in there. Exact same behavior. When I implement the tweak menu, that is. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to give this something to actually have, or take an input from. That's going to be this impact sensor. And I'm going to set it so that it uses a tag. And I'm also going to include touching. And for this tag, I'm going to put it on the blue channel, and I'm going to give it the label of... I want to say bumper, but there might be other things that would give us points when we hit them, but you know what? Screw it. For the sake of brevity, bumper. That's the name I've decided. Bumper. There we go. So when we hit a blue bumper tag, we should get points. Alright. So now we actually need to give the bumper something on it to, you know, mark it as a bumper tag. And that's easy. You give it a microchip with a tag on it that's set to the exact same label as the input or impact sensor. So we wanted the blue channel and then the label of bumper. There we go. So that tag's always going to be on. So let's give it a quick test. I don't think points actually save in create mode, so I should be able to do this without causing too much trouble. So unpause the game. As you can see, we bounced off the bumper there and we actually got points. We bumped off it twice, actually. So that's how that works. And we could do a similar setup for destroying the ball, but we're gonna get to that later. So I'm gonna take a moment to read the chat. Actually, fun fact, I have a really cool Chrome extension that's gonna make the chat a lot easier to read. I can just highlight any one of your messages. And right-click it and hit read aloud. YouTube actually recommended the stream? Holy crap, that's the first time in the history of God knows how long I've been doing YouTube that I actually ended up on someone's recommended page. Welcome to the stream. Oh my god, that's so amazing! Alright, let's read some more chat messages. Oh, that requires some context there. I have a Chrome extension that if I right-click on text that I've highlighted, it'll read it out loud to me through text-to-speech. You guys can't hear that, but it's making things a lot easier for me. Oh, that's even better. I ended up on a search page. Yeah, see, that never happens. I'm really glad I started making LittleBigPlanet content. And I even got a subscriber from that. That's awesome! I'm really happy right now. So same if there are LBP streams only. I will tell you that a lot of my streams are going to be LittleBigPlanet. I find LittleBigPlanet is a lot easier to stream than programming because it's more visual and a lot less things go wrong, but I will be making more than just LittleBigPlanet videos on this channel. I am a game developer, so I will be making programming videos occasionally, whether they be game dev related or web dev related. That's the content I like to make, so. Tobias says that was a very fun fact. I don't know what the fun fact was. I can't remember. Pinballs in the Mist, LBP3 story mode. Oh, is there actually Little Big Planet 3? I haven't played through the story. I haven't actually played through the Little Big Planet 3 story mode, and I don't really want to. Seems every time I play through story mode, my profile immediately dies, so... I'm slowly catching up on the hat here, guys. Yes, LVP music is must-have, but I actually get copyright claims from Little Big Planet music, so I would love to be playing LVP music in the background, but I'm not gonna risk it. Oh, I understand what the fun fact was. I completely forgot that I said fun fact. I have a Chrome extension that reads aloud the chat, but I do have one. It's like I am blind. It's very difficult for me to read it, so I'm just going through and I'm having it read aloud to me right now. Yeah, I'm resorting to time savers nowadays too, but unfortunately the LBP1 or LBP3 starter kit level crashes my console. So that's great. I have no LBP3 assets whatsoever. Yeah, I'm on the PS3 corruptions or PS3 corruption. I'm on the PS3 version right now. It is more stable than the PS4 version was for me when I played it over PS Now, but it does corrupt every now and then. I've had my fair share of issues with it. Yeah, Sony really shouldn't have Riot Sumo. Now the chat is getting so active that I'm gonna have to speed through this. Oh god. What does it say when I put U asterisk? Tobias, when you put emoji or Unicode hell like that, it completely dies. That's what it does. Yeah, I've never had the stream chat this active before with this many people in it. So I've finally caught up. I've finally caught up with the hat. So that's not what I wanted to do. Let's get out of the Little Big Planet chat interface there. I was resting my hand on my keyboard and I guess it decided to type things, so that's great. But we have a bumper here, kinda, sort of. So I'm gonna copy-paste the bumper. And kind of place it haphazardly. I don't think this is symmetrical. Yeah, it's not symmetrical. God. I think now it is. Kind of. Sort of. Maybe. Who cares? Anyway, let's pick a theme for the level. And I think I've already picked one. It's gonna be Avalonia. During the day. Alright, we have a theme. And now I'm realizing that this is not looking very great. Now I think with the actual background, I can see that it's not very symmetrical. So now it's a little bit better. So now we need something to actually, you know... what's the word? Kill the player. Can't believe I had to think through that. So... To kill the player, what we're gonna do is this is not gonna be circuit board when I'm done. This is gonna be white plastic without bevel. But to kill the player, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create something for the player to, you know, slide down, and then we're gonna create some sort of death pit. And that's going to destroy the ball. So first we're gonna take this, and with the material tweaker, or whatever it's called, the material changer, I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna grab my white plastic, no bevel, with static physics, and I'm going to, you know, do this. And then I'm going to take the material here, now that I've changed it, I'm gonna copy it, flip it, and move it over to the other side as well. Now, one thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to count how many units this is from that other object there, so I'm going to move it here. Alright, so we're right up next to it, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, that looks good. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. Make sure that they're nice and symmetrical. It's not gridded up. Why is it not gridded up? Oh, what happened? These objects are not gridded. And I actually cannot move this object right now. So that's because this bumper, or this flipper is in the way. Luckily it's attached to sticker panel, so I can just go and... kinda sorta do that, and I think that'll work. So I'm gonna take this, and... What? Okay, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And because I moved this over, I need to move this over. Alright. So we have a bumper, or we have 2 bumpers, we have... What is that? That is the... What? Okay, there's some weird graphical stuff going on in a little bit. Is this part of the Avalonia theme? Or is my PS3 killing itself in the background? Because there was a bunch of stuff that disappeared whenever I zoomed in, and it's freaking me out. I don't like it. Alright, let's read some chat a little bit more. I'm gonna try to keep fairly caught up with chat here. I need another Chrome extension that detects when a YouTube chat message is posted and automatically reads it out. Well, Tobias, that was a very descriptive way of saying you're going to sleep. Yeah, you can adjust the background and global stuff. I don't know why my pinball looks like a crab. But now that you mention it, someone had to mention crabs, didn't they? They had to mention crabs. Yeah, just had to mention crabs, which means now that you've mentioned crabs, I now need to do this. Alright, let's make sure that the LittleBigPlanet audio is still working. I need a Chrome window. Y'all asked for it. Is there a way to actually turn that down? I don't usually use the Monster Cat website to play Monster Cat music. That was weird, it lagged for a sec. Open volume mixer. Y'all asked for Crab Rave. Glitch lives matter, that's great. Crab Rave lol, yep. Yep. That's what you get for saying anything looks like... or mentioning crabs at all on my stream gets Crab Rave played. That's how this works. Alright, let's continue on here. Where's the crab ball? Where did it go? I have no idea where it went. I'm being distracted by my own music right now. That's not usually how it happens. And I have no idea where the ball is. Maybe the ball will bounce on something and I'll be able to find it. There we go. There it is. Wait, what? What did I just do? Right, let's make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna continue creating the death pit here while Crab Rave is still playing in the background, so... the death pit is gonna be... let's see. So from this area... why is it playing Crab Rave twice? Alright, closing the Monster Cat window. And then we need to go into the OBS settings here and switch from desktop audio, so you guys don't get annoyed by anything I accidentally play. And then I need to mute that, and then unmute the game audio. There we go. So that'll work. That'll work like that. And then also, we're gonna go like this, and kind of sort of go like... no, that's not gonna work at all! What I need to do is I need to create a little slab of material here. 9 units large, and then I'm gonna rotate it a little bit. Not that much. That's more like it. So, while this material is still in my hand, I'm gonna copy it, and you know. My Sackboy's in the way. I cannot see exactly how I'm lining this up because my Sackboy is in the way. But that works. Wait, where's the other piece? That's where the other piece is. So then we're gonna take this and decrease the size. And I'm definitely going to have to corner edit it a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. Also, I am zoomed into the game right now, which is something that I could not do if I were not playing this through OBS. I'm really glad that my capture card has no latency whatsoever. But effectively, what we're going to do is we're going to line this up here. And I'm going to extrude this out until we hit the other side. Okay. It's a really large death pit, but this'll work. Also, it's now that I realize that I've been playing through the OBS preview window and not my presenter window. There we go. It's probably a little better to play through the presenter window. Ball is on the left side of pinball. Thank you for the advice. I already found the ball. Anyway, I lost the ball again, didn't I? Oh, there it is. It's right there. So, the way we're going to set this up is we're going to use sticker panel. And the reason I'm going to use sticker panel is because I'm going to use an impact sensor to detect that we are touching the sticker panel, which includes being collided inside the sticker panel. Sticker panel doesn't have physics in LittleBigPlanet, it doesn't have gravity, and it does not have collision, so we're going to be able to create a nice little strip of sticker panel here where when the ball enters it, it dies. So, I realize I didn't explain that very well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this as red. Also, static physics. Oh wait, yeah, it's already static physics. It's not exactly necessary to set the physics of sticker panel, given there is no physics. But I'm going to set it as red, and I'm going to make it fully transparent. The reason I'm going to do this is just that in Create Mode, we know that this is a def object. But, so what we're going to do is the ball is going to be able to collide, or to, intersect the def pit there, as you can see. So what's going to happen is when we intersect with it, we're going to have a tag on this def pit here that is going to be picked up by an impact sensor, sort of like how we do with the bumpers. And when that impact sensor detects that tag, it's going to destroy the ball. And then what's also going to happen is when the ball disappears in the level, something else is going to regenerate the ball and have the player teleported over to it. So, let's see if we can set that up. So first of all, I need to hide the def pit. Get out of preview mode, and make sure that the... make sure that the circuit board here is going to be correctly... Oh god, it's sideways. So, this is a big problem with balls in LittleBigPlanet, is they are bouncy and they rotate, and it's very hard to keep objects like this properly aligned. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take a impact sensor like this. And I'm going to label this with kill. Oops, caps lock was on. Kill. There we go. So that's our kill sensor. And I'm going to take this one-shot chip and wire it up. Okay. And we're going to wire it into a destroyer. Make sure you pause the game when you do this, because the destroyer automatically activates when you place it down. I don't think it actually destroys the object when you first place it down, but, you know, just to be safe. But I'm going to have the ball shatter, because I think that's funny. So when we hit the kill area, the ball is going to destroy itself. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a tag to this pinball. And the reason for this is I want to be able to detect whether the pinball is actually in the level. And tags are a very great way to do that, especially with remote tag sensors. So the way this works is we're going to label this with a red tag, and I'm going to set the label to pinball. And this is going to allow me to create a chip later on that actually detects whether the pinball is in the level. And when we lose the pinball signal, we're going to fire off an emitter that emits a new pinball. So that's the way that's going to work. And what's going to happen is when we hit the death pit, the ball is going to destroy itself, which is going to destroy that tag in the level. And so the tag sensor that we're going to add later on is no longer going to see the pinball in the level, and so it's going to say, okay, we lost a life, let's create another one. So that leads me to my next thing, which is getting the ball a hell of a way from this death pit. Okay. I'm trying to align it in, and that's not working very well. I'm going to actually get it out of the level area. And I'm going to put it right on the ground here. Okay, so let's start setting up that actual death pit and making sure that it works. Okay, so this is fairly easy. All we need is a microchip on it with a tag. Whoops. And on this tag, it's going to be wired in, or it's going to be set to red, and the label is going to be set to kill. Okay. So that way, when we collide or intersect with this material, we die. That's how that works. Alright. So that's a feature implemented, so let's go look into that chat. Alright. Wait, what? Apparently you guys are talking about some sort of tool that isn't working in LittleBigPlanet 3? Wait, there used to be an image import tool? Wait, what? Import tool? What is this import tool you guys are talking about? Alright, I must catch up with the chat. I want to know more about this image import tool. Alright, I'm caught up. Okay, I have an LBP1 disc. When the servers get back up, y'all have to teach me how to get that image import tool. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna go on my PS3 here. Okay, I'm gonna scroll over to pictures. I have this 4K image of Richie from Pokemon. This is the same image that I use as my Discord avatar, by the way. I would really, really like to have this as the level badge for my Pokemon A Friend Indeed adventure. So I would gladly go into LBP1, use the image import tool, import the sticker, save it to my profile, and then import my profile into LBP3. If that's how that works. That would be really amazing. Anyway. Awesome. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are an awesome community. Everyone from Trixel and from LittleBigPlanet. Oh, I had a voice crack. Yes. I am streaming LBP on PS3. I bought a capture card a few weeks ago from Amazon that's like... It's actually ATC or HDCP compliant. So I plugged the PS3 into it through HDMI, and then it actually properly decodes the signal and sends it to my computer over USB Type-C with like no latency whatsoever. So I'm actually playing the game through a window on my computer. I can prove this to you guys. So what I have to do here is I need to go into OBS. And I'm going to show you guys how I do this. So the way we do this is we go into scene 1. That's going to be my computer. Hello, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move OBS to that... So this is the chat, by the way. This is my primary monitor. So if I... Whoops, I almost closed OBS. That would have been a bad thing. But if I drag OBS over... This is going to be a little hard to demo, but if I zoom in, you're going to see my primary monitor here, which is... This is LittleBigPlanet. It is actually a full screen window on my computer right now, and I'm doing that through OBS. The way we do this is... I can't click this scene, otherwise it's going to actually show you guys the scene. But inside the scene, named PS3, I have a PS3 capture source, and that's set to my capture card, and that's how I do it. And then I just right-click that source and use the presenter mode to have it as a full-screen window. And you guys just saw that same Richie picture as my wallpaper for a sec there. But I'm going to switch back to the PS3 scene. There we go. I'm actually hoping that you guys heard that explanation, because I don't know if the microphone was actually set up properly for that scene. It might have been muted, I can't remember. But if that was muted, what I was trying to explain there is that I have LittleBigPlanet set up as a window on my computer there. Alright, Polygon Nostalgia says gotta go. Good night. I'm glad you could make it to the stream. So I hope you enjoyed it. I do not have a jailbroken PS3. This PS3 used to be jailbroken, but I like my new PSN account. I wouldn't like to not get banned, so. I have a jailbroken Vita, though. It's pretty cool. The LittleBigPlanet Vita servers are down, so I'm not really concerned about getting my PSN banned on there. But anyway, what we're gonna do now is, now that we have a death pit, we need a way to respawn the ball in the level. So, I've got to create some sort of, like, plunger type mechanic here. So what I'm gonna do is, I need those tubes from the Factory of a Better Tomorrow. It's gonna be way down in the menu, isn't it? But those tubes are gonna be perfect for what I'm about to create. I see cheese. Don't know why I decided to point that out, but I see cheese. There's the tubes. So the hamster tubes. These are really cool. I like these. Because, you know, you can actually have objects travel through them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to grid this up as well as I can. But I'm going to create a hamster tube there. Now this is where it would be really great to have one of those collision glitches that Come For MC made videos about a while ago. The ones where you place down this, like, really complex object in the level while the game's paused, and it completely destroys the game's physics engine. I don't have any of those materials, and the servers aren't down, so the servers are down, sorry, so I can't actually go in and get one. So, oh well. But what I'm effectively... Oops. What I'm effectively trying to do is I'm gonna create a little tube here that I can use to send the ball through with a plunger. Alright, so that's pretty decent. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set these all to static physics, so that they don't fall again. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab some more white plastic with no bevel. And... oh, that might be the plastic with bevel. That's not what I wanted. No bevel, please. My ice cap was starting to get lukewarm. Anyway, now it's empty. Anyway, so I'm gonna take this material here, and I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to... whoa, that looks like it's a thin material. That's not what I wanted. And it was a thin material. What I'm gonna do is, theoretically, I should be able to go over the hamster tube like this, and just, you know... yeah, like that. And go ahead and... so I know that there needs to be a spot for the ball to sit in there, but that's gonna work out fine very soon. So the way this is gonna work is I'm gonna remove some material here. And this is where I'm starting to get really focused, and it's hard for me to narrate what I'm doing. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a section for the ball to sit and where it's gonna spawn in. And what you're going to do is you're going to press the X button, you're going to hold it down, and the longer you hold it, the more power you give the game's plunger. And that's going to send your ball higher into the level, or higher into the pipes, and then effectively it should flow through the pipe, come out the other end, and you'll be in the game. I hope. So I feel like I've created some space in there for the ball to sit in, so I'm going to take the ball, and I'm going to make sure that I can fit it through the pipes. So we have to go in through here. And I cannot collide with it, unless... Yeah, I cannot collide with it. That's not good. Yeah, I can't actually go into the pipe with the basketball. That's a problem. Alkaline, do you know a glitch that are rotating objects on 90 degrees in Z dimension? I'm not sure if I know that glitch, but I do know there is a way to create interesting polygons using the slide tool in the corner editor, which definitely feels like it is a glitch to me. I don't see why Sumo would let you corner edit a slide like that, but I did make a video on that. It was pretty interesting. But anyway, I've got to figure out exactly why this basketball here won't go into the pipe. My theory is that it's actually a two-layer object. Because if you look at it, it does seem like it seems like the model collides with the pipe. And it's not letting me through. So I might need to use a different type of ball. We'll go with a golf ball. How about that? Golf ball. So we should just be able to transfer the controlinator right over. God, I wish programming was this easy. You know, being able to just, you know, do that and all the code transfers over. Anyway. Yep, so this one lets me right on through. Awesome. So, what do we do now? Well, we're going to create another piece of material. And for this one, I'm actually going to use... What am I going to use? I'm going to use neon. If I can find neon. I'm not sure where neon is. It might even be under his special effects for all I know. Nope, that's slight matter. Where would neon be? There's neon. Okay, so neon. Why am I choosing neon? Because I would like to indicate to the player what the power is on the plunger. So if I create a neon strip for the ball to sit on, which I am not gridded up, by the way, that's not good. If I create this little neon strip here, what's going to happen is the ball's going to fall on said neon strip, which I have just discovered I placed incorrectly. So the ball's going to fall on this neon strip here, and I'm going to have it set so that it has an off color and an on color, and when you hold down the X button, it's going to transition toward the on color. And the closer it is to the on color, the more power you've given to the plunger. So, let's set that up. The first thing that we need is a piston. Alright, so piston. We're going to attach the piston to the bottom of the neon, and the other end to the top of this material here. We're going to set the minimum length to nothing. And the time to... the time doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things after what we do, but Oh well. We'll leave it at that. So, let's pause, or play. And as you can see, the ball just sits there on the neon. So now we need to actually script this whole thing out. So, the first thing that I'm going to do is inside the golf ball, I'm going to create another tag. Now, this tag is going to be wired onto the X button, and oh my god, the microchip is upside down again. It keeps happening. So, yeah, this is gonna be the way we control the plunger. So, I'm gonna put this tag down, and instead of it being labeled with a flipper label, I'm gonna label it with the plunger label. Alright, so we'll wire this plunger tag into the X button now. So when we hold the X button down, this is going to activate the tag, and that's going to get broadcast into a remote tag sensor that's going to be sitting on another microchip somewhere in the level. And let's get that all working. So I'm going to unhide everything and create a piece of sticker panel. What's going on? Alright, so this sticker panel is going to be static physics. Alright, it's going to be thin layer. And 0% opacity. Okay, so this is going to have a microchip on it. Okay, so on this microchip, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to put a remote tag sensor on it. And we are going to set it to red and set the label to the plunger. Okay, so put that there. And then this is going to be a little complicated for me to do, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a timer here. And the way this is going to work is we're going to set the timer to the amount of time we want the X button to be held down before we hit the maximum plunger strength. So in this case, I'm going to go with 1 second. You hold it down for 1 second, you get the maximum length. We can tweak that later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tag sensor into the input port of the timer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a NOT gate on the tag sensor here. And that NOT gate is going to get wired into the reset of the timer. So we hold down the X button and the timer starts counting up. And then when we let go of the X button, the timer should reset back to 0. That's the plan. So then we're going to take the timer, and we're going to wire it into both the neon strip here, and into the piston. So then what we're going to do is we're going to set the neon... Ow, I just banged my arm on my desk. We're going to set the piston here, its input, to positional. So, if we get in the ball and hit the X button, as you can see, the neon lights up, but for some reason, I've just realized that I have gotten pinged in the Trixel server several times. One of them is an announcement. Let's see what that's about. New Restitch Dev Diary. I'll have to read that later. And then we have ping and share. Stick says you got parsec. Unfortunately, I do not have parsec. I was replying to a ping inside Trixel Creative. I forgot the name of the server for a second. I don't know why I forgot the name of the Trixel Creative server. If you hear a microwave sound, it's most likely, it's most likely the background of the Avalonia level. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, because I hear, like, servo motors and stuff in the background. Another thing you might be able to hear is my LPS3, because it does have thermal issues after a while, where the fan will ramp up, and then it just never will spin down until you turn off the console. I'm not sure why, but anyway. So I'm realizing that we have a problem with this plunger here, and the problem is that it kind of keeps, you know, hitting up against the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my grid. Actually, no. I'm going to keep my grid on. I'm going to use the corner editor to make sure that the plunger is not attached. We're not rubbing up against that metal wall. That way the piston doesn't have to work as hard. It is not symmetrical at all, and I don't know why. I'm, like, really anal about my models being symmetrical. There we go. So, get back in the ball. Or not. Yeah, I mean, that works too, Sackboy. You could completely ignore my instruction to go into the pinball. There you go. Alright. As you can see, though, there's a problem. There's a big problem. The ball... The ball keeps getting collided with that edge there, which is not good. Also, my dog is barking. So, the way we're gonna fix this issue, where the X button is actually causing the position to go up as you hold it down, which is not the way we want this to work, is we're going to go ahead and we're gonna invert the output, or invert the input. And then, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set the time on this piston to be 0.1 seconds. And then beg my dog to please stop hurting my ears. So now we're flying. So as you can see, we hold down the X button. How the hell did that happen? We hold down the X button. And we get plunged into the piping. Only problem is, we're a little bit too bouncy. You know. A little bouncy. A little more bouncy than I would like us to be. Oh man, my dog is really giving me business. Okay. So. I'm gonna go for 40% bounciness. That should work a little bit better. If I don't kill myself, that would work a lot better too. There we go. That's the perfect amount of bounciness for this to work. Oh god. Oh god, when is this gonna end? Wow, that was quite the ride. Alright, so... Okay, so we have a plunger. We have a pinball. We have a pinball that can, you know, be killed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this pinball, I'm gonna save it to my objects, and the reason I'm gonna do that is that I can easily grab an emitter and you know, emit the ball. I'm pretty sure that just saved the controlinator, I don't know why. I'm gonna make sure that it actually saved the pinball. Why did it only capture the... LittleBigPlanet, you're weird. It should not have only captured the, you know, the... Okay, so there's a ball. Does it have a controlinator on it? It looks like it does. So, now we can delete these from the level. And now we can set up the ability for it to emit the ball. So, the way this is gonna work is... we need another... some more space on this microchip here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this remote tag sensor, and we're gonna copy it. And we're gonna set its label to pinball. And it's at this point that I no longer need my physical keyboard attached to the... I no longer need it on my lap. So I'm going to not have it on my lap. So I'm going to place this new pinball sensor down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a NOT gate on it. So, with this NOT gate attached to it, what we're going to do is we're going to grab an emitter. Alright. And we're going to attach the NOT gate's output to the emitter's input. And then we're going to set this emitter to 1 shot. And I'm going to say that there's infinite lifetime on the pinball that it emits. And that it can only emit 1 at a time. And that it cannot destroy the last item emitted. And I'm also going to say ignore parent velocity. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my objects here, and I'm going to emit the pinball. And I'm going to emit it about right here. You know, so it has a chance to fall down. So, if I play the level, we should see a ball emit. Or not. Not really sure what happened there. You know, we could actually set the output, or the input method to on-off, and it would achieve the same effect. Yep. Except the only difference is that it works now. So. Whoa, okay, there's definitely some glitchiness going on here. I don't know why it keeps having problems getting the ball through the plunger. I also don't know how the ball keeps clipping through the plunger's platform there. I'm having problems. Oh, and I see A Shifter is in chat. Awesome. So far, for those just tuning in, or for people who have left and maybe missed a few things, what we've done so far is I'm creating a pinball level in LittleBigPlanet right now. So what I've done, first we started the stream off creating the flippers. We got the left flipper working and then the right flipper working. They all work. Then we created some bumpers that we have something that we can hit our ball on and give us points. And then what we did is we set up this little death pit down here. That's what this red area is, so that when the pinball lands in this area, the pinball is destroyed. Then I went ahead and I set up this little tubing here where you have the ball that spawns in right here at this plunger area, and you hold down the X button, and that causes the plunger to go down. When you let go of the X button, it immediately springs right back up and launches the ball through the tube. Ideally, it enters or exits through this little hole here and then ends up inside the pinball machine. And you can use the R1 and L1 keys to control the bumper and stuff like that. And then the way we set it up is that when the game no longer detects the pinball in the level, it fires off this emitter which spawns the pinball in the level. So I could delete the pinball and it would respawn it, in fact. So that's what we've been doing so far. Now, one thing I have realized is that we're going to need to cut away some material. And the reason for that is this pipe here. It kinda, you know, kinda doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete those pipes. And I'm going to delete some material off of where the pipe is. So I'm going to make sure that I hide that plunger so that I do not actually delete the plunger. So we're going to take some white plastic, no bevel. Really doesn't matter what material I use since I'm deleting stuff anyway, but I'm going to do it just for peace of mind. I'm going to take a single unit of the small grid. And we're going to delete off the sides here. Alright, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. What that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to increase the size of this hamster tube by a fair amount. because right now it's actually glued in place, and that's not good. So we're going to increase it to its maximum size until it, you know, freaks out at us saying, hey, like, look, you're too big. So we've done that. And then we can make sure that it is attached, or set up like so. So that, effectively, what we've done here is we've made it so that the pipe no longer lets the ball bounce off the sides of it whenever we try to plunge the ball into it. Yes, this is on real hardware, and I can prove it. Real hardware. And there's Richie from Pokemon. Anyway, so we still need some sort of way to have the ball kinda, you know, get into... I lost my train of thought. We need a way for the ball to actually get into position. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a hamster tube again, one of the corner ones. And I'm actually going to end up deleting it. And the reason I'm going to delete it is because... Actually, I don't know if I'm going to delete it. There might be a short corner one, maybe? I'm hoping? I'm looking? Yeah, there is a shorter corner one. So, I'm effectively trying to make sure that the hamster tubes do not intrude on the actual design of the level here, and it looks like they're not going to. So I'm going to place this one down. And I'm actually going to increase the size of it a little bit, so that it's about the same size as the other one, and that's very hard to do when the camera is not locked. By the way, if you're playing LittleBigPlanet and you need the camera to lock in place, you can actually press R3. I didn't know that until a few weeks ago, actually. And that's allowing me to get a little bit better aligned with this whole grid here. So, awesome. Oh, whoops. Ow! That went well! I tried to unlock the camera, but it didn't go well. So now I should be able to plunge way into the level. And for some reason, the game didn't actually detect death. That's great. What happened? Why didn't we why didn't we die? Just casually make this a 16-layer thick object. Did I really get a trophy for that? Are you fucking kidding me? It disappeared before I could read it. What? Polygon Nostalgia says, damn it, I can't sleep. Welcome to the club. I have sleeping issues too. I stayed up till 3 AM last night, and I went to bed at 11. I got completely caught off guard by the fact that I earned a trophy for creating a 16-layer thick object. That is like the LittleBigPlanet equivalent of a participation trophy. Like, you use the basic in-game tool, here have a trophy. That's perfect. Oh my god. Oh, great. That's... Okay, at least I got a PSN trophy before the PS3 PSN servers shut down. That's great. But I'm at a loss as to why the ball did not detect the, um... Oh, that'll do it. Okay. So what happened was I had the handle set incorrectly. It's supposed to be red. See, now it detects it, and it didn't kill the ball, but... it should have. So what happened there is I'm a bonehead, that's all. Hey, LittleBigPlanet. You know, there's... If I tell you to do something on impact of an object, would you please do it, LittleBigPlanet? Like, please? I mean, this is wired into the... Yeah, it is wired in. It most definitely is. So... You know... screw this. I don't need the one-shot hit anyway. Just destroy it. Just destroy it. It's okay. Just freaking destroy the ball. There we go! It worked. Alright. And as you probably heard, I don't know how well you heard it, but I did hear the ball respawn. So now what we need to do is... Now what we need to do... As I'm still flabbergasted by the fact I earned a trophy for that. Now what we need to do is we actually need to edit the ball and recapture it, because... See, the problem is... it doesn't update when we use my objects for an emitter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete this. We're gonna pause the game, delete the ball entirely, and we're gonna create a new one. So we go some kind of object, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna place it in the level. Alright, we're gonna open up the chip. Delete the one-shot chip here, and we need to wire this directly into the sensor. Or into the destroyer, and then we need to make sure that this is set to the red channel. Okay. That fixes that. And then we can recapture. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm also going to delete this controlinator from before. And there we go. So now we can delete the ball, because we need to. And then we can go into our emitter and make sure that that version of the ball respawns. I don't know why my objects take a while to load. I'm on an SSD, it shouldn't take that long. Alright. So now, if we spawn in here... As you can see, we hit the death area and we die. Now we need some sort of way to have the player respawn, or have the player teleport back into the plunger whenever they die. So the way we're gonna do that, the way we're gonna accomplish that, is... we could use a checkpoint, but the problem is that would require me putting a checkpoint inside the piping. I don't really want to do that. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to have the game... what are we going to do? We're gonna have the game respawn the player like normal, and I'm trying to think through how I'm going to write this in my head. I see the problem is that the player dies whenever we destroy the pinball. We could solve that by having the player not sit in the pinball and instead have the game camera track a tag. Can you even do that? But I'm not sure. I might have to rethink the entire way this is programmed. Polygon Nostalgia says, you hit the death area and die. Alkaline Thunder, 2021. I'm gonna tweet that. I'm gonna tweet that. That was funny. So as you can see, you hit the death area, and you die. Alkaline Thunder 2021. Just casually tweets on a stream. I might have to rethink exactly how I designed this. See, the problem is the player dies when we hit the death area. And that means the player has to respawn. And I need the player to respawn in an area where they will end up, you know, getting put inside the pinball. Or we could have the player sit in a completely separate area and have a game camera track where the pinball is and follow it in the level. That's one way of doing it. We could wait for the player to respawn, and then they'll hit a player sensor, and then they will get teleported to the plunger, and then immediately end up in the pinball. That's another way we could do it. But I don't really like the fact that the player dies when the pinball is destroyed. I don't like that. So I'm thinking that what we're going to do is we're going to actually have the player sit in a completely different area of the level. Probably on this sticker panel here. And then what we're effectively going to do is we're going to replace this microchip with a controlinator. And I'm basically going to pretend that I'm copying code over. So I'm going to take this controlinator, I'm going to move it onto this sticker panel. The controlinator has all the configuration we need it to. So we need it to have. So it's got all of our tags, it's got our controls, all that stuff. So that's good. What we do need to move over, however, is we need to move over this tag here. We need to move over these impact sensors, and we need to move those onto the pinball. So I'm going to make sure that I get the pinball out of the piping. So I'm going to put a microchip on that pinball. This is like the third time I've had to modify the pinball. So put the microchip on it, and then we basically start transplanting all the logic over. Alright, so I'm going to move it next to the object. So where was it? It was over here. So easiest thing to transplant is that tag sensor, or is that pinball tag. Bam! This is the pinball. Alright, The next easiest thing to transfer over is this destroyer, or is all this stuff here. We can highlight it, detach it from this board, and move it all over to this board. And then realign everything. So this is our pinball now. Now what we need is, on this controlinator, we're gonna need a game camera of some sort. Now I'm not sure if you can actually, those of you who are a little bit more well-versed in LittleBigPlanet, is there a way to... what's the difference between a remote tag sensor and a tag sensor? Alright, I actually wrote a blog article on this, but I'm not gonna link you guys to it. I'm going to... So the difference between a remote tag sensor and a regular tag sensor is one thing and one thing only. It is... So if I pull out this tag sensor, it's the radius. See, you don't have these tweaks in the remote tag sensor, and that's because, with a remote tag sensor, it can be anywhere in the level, and as long as there is a tag active with the matching color and label, that remote tag sensor will be turned on. Whereas with a regular tag sensor, you, along with having the same color and label, you need to be in the trigger radius of the tag sensor. So these tag sensors are useful for how they would be used in LittleBigPlanet 1. Like, say you're dragging a specific object into an area. This is a very common theme in the LittleBigPlanet 1 story levels, where you would have to retrieve some sort of lost object or something and bring it to its owner, and then that owner will let you further into the level. That's what these are useful for. But the remote tag sensors, these are useful for broadcasting messages between two objects. And the reason you might want to do this with a remote tag sensor rather than, say, taking a output from, for example, this here, and wiring it into this. The reason you would want to use a remote tag sensor for that instead is that doing this creates a rigid connection between the two objects. So a rigid connection in LittleBigPlanet is anytime you have a wire between two objects, anytime you string two objects together, for example, this piston, this is a rigid connection between this neon panel here and the level geometry. Or anytime you glue something to another object, that's a rigid connection. And you generally want to keep these rigid connections to a minimum, if possible, in LittleBigPlanet 3, and especially in dynamic thermometer levels. With remote tag sensors, there is no rigid connection involved in those. It will get the signal as long as there is a tag with a matching color and a matching label active. So it's very, very great for broadcasting signals and messages and communicating between objects in the level. And another thing I will point out is that you have the option in the regular tag sensor of setting the layer awareness to 16, and then the maximum trigger distance to infinite. And this will give you the same behavior as a remote tag sensor. And this will work for static thermometer levels, which is what we're creating right now. But this is going to make literal hell occur in a dynamic thermometer level, because any object you attach this tag sensor to, well, it has an infinite radius. Which means that the game is going to treat that object as having an infinite loading zone. Which is not ideal. If Sackboy is not near the object, you probably don't want it loaded in. I mean, there are some cases where that's not true, but in the vast majority of cases, you don't want these infinite radius and infinite loading zone objects in your level. So, remote tag sensors, since they don't have a radius attached to them, this basically requires the object to be loaded in beforehand, and you can use things like persistence tweakers and preloaders to reload or to load in the objects when you want to communicate with them. But generally it's a better idea if you want to use, or if you want to use tags to broadcast messages, to use the remote tag sensor. So that's why I use them. So the recap on that, the summary on that is that the remote tag sensors, they don't have a radius attached to them. So, what was I doing? I need a game camera. I'm not sure if I should have the game camera on the pinball itself, or on the... where did the pinball... Oh, there's the pinball. Or if I should have it on the controlinator. And it all depends on whether the game camera can track a tag, and I don't think it can. So... I mean, I can look in the tweak menu, but I don't remember the game camera being able to track a tag. Let's have a look here. I see that it... Well, obviously it would track a player because, you know, it's a game camera. But, yeah, I don't think there's a way to track a tag. So, I'm gonna put this on the... on this object here. Now, I'm gonna increase the size of this. I'm gonna put a battery on that whole, on that game camera, and that's gonna make sure that it's always active. See, I don't want the... Actually, no. No, wait. We're gonna use the remote tag sensor for this. I'm gonna set this to player active. Or game active. I'm too lazy to pull out my physical keyboard. Plus, sometimes you gotta be nostalgic for these old PS3 beeping sounds. Aren't they great? Anyway, game active. So I'm gonna wire this into the game camera here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take another red tag here. And put it on the board. And set this to game active. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the controlinator active output on it, and I'm gonna treat that as the PlayStation button output, because that's where it is on the DualShock 3 controllers, the PlayStation button. I used to think that you could actually wire things into the PlayStation button being pressed, but obviously you can't, because in-game XMB. But anyway. So that output's going to be live as long as you are in the controlinator, which is going to activate this tag, which is going to activate the remote tag sensor, which is going to activate the game camera. And my hope is that the game will focus on the pinball. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually have the game zoom in a little bit on the pinball whenever we are active inside it. Whoops. I'm going to zoom in like that. A little bit closer to the pinball. There we go. So that's our game camera set up here. So now I should be able to go in and kinda, sorta... Oh wait, I was gonna capture the object with my objects. Okay. So we got a pinball. Got another pinball that I can delete. Now what we're gonna do is... I'm gonna place this microchip on the board here. And I need to update the emitter. That's what I need to do. Because we edited the ball object, we need to actually go in and edit the emitter to make sure that it emits in the right location and you know, all that stuff. And emits the right object as well. And I've set that up. So, this makes things a whole lot easier. If we delete the ball that was down there. The camera isn't activating. Neither is the plunger. We have problems. Message retracted. I've never seen that before. I didn't know users could delete their own messages. I actually didn't know you could delete your own messages on YouTube chat. That's kind of cool. Now I'm curious as to what that message said before it was deleted, but anyway. What was I doing? So we have a few bugs. First of all is our game camera is not activating. Not sure why. So let's look into it. Let's see if there's any reason why the game camera isn't activating. Require all players, no. Input action on off. Stay on. That might work a little better. I'm gonna have to edit the object again, aren't I? It still isn't working. Why not? I mean, I can see that the tag is not active. Why isn't it active? It's red and it's set to game active. And this is set to game active. What? Something's wrong here. I might be... You used a tag sensor instead of a remote tag. Oh my god! Here I am going on about the benefits of a... Oh, thank you. Yeah, I did. Oops. Okay. Let's fix that. That happens sometimes, and it's okay to mess up like that. That's kind of the art of game dev and level design and all that stuff. Sometimes you make mistakes like that, so I'm not overly annoyed. I'm just glad that someone in the chat figured it out for me, that it is a remote tag sensor that I messed up on. Okay, so What we need to do is we need to hide this. Hide this. And I need to recapture this all over again. So unhide, and then delete this. Recapture, and then we can delete the object. And under that, under that emitter here, I need to make sure that the object is in the right position and that it is using the right object to spawn in, so... Okay. So hopefully that should work. It's not. We still have problems with our game camera. It's not working. It is not focusing on the ball. Why isn't it focusing on... It looks like it's zoomed into the player. That's what it seems like. Yeah, it kind of seems like it's zoomed into the player, because if I... Yeah, if I, just walk around normally, the camera is a little different, but if I go in here, then it's zoomed in a little. Pause the game, debug this, make sure that I'm not going crazy. So this tag is broadcasting on red, and it's broadcasting the right label. This tag sensor is active now. But from the looks of it, it's not actually wired into the camera. What the hell? That was weird! Why wasn't it wired in? What? Okay. Bad case of LittleBigPlanet. Okay. That was straight... Oh god, I almost deleted it. That would have been bad. I need to capture it first. Easy mistake to make. Okay. Oops. Did not mean to do that. I'm actually getting kind of hungry. I suppose I should have bought lunch when I bought my coffee earlier. Oops! I actually walked to Tim Hortons before the stream to buy something so I could drink during the stream. And what I completely forgot about is not only do humans get thirsty, but they get hungry too. And my headset almost fell off my head because I had to scratch my ear. That's great. But anyway, so that should theoretically get it to spawn in. And then what we can do is... Come on, game camera. Okay, this is even more annoying. I saw the camera update, but it's not tracking on the ball. I saw it update. What am I doing wrong? Time to hack this, or hack the hat. You can't ping me in YouTube, but you can ping me in... Actually, you can ping me on YouTube. It shows up as an orange highlight to me, but I actually don't hear a sound like I would on Discord, and even then I'm do not disturb on Discord, so... What is LittleBigPlanet doing right now? If LittleBigPlanet didn't have undo and redo, I would be screaming right now. Oh, 100% focus on players. That's not good. That's bad. Alright, more updating to do. Okay, let's fix the camera. Alright, I'm totally not getting mildly frustrated at this whole thing. I'm very glad that I have people who actually play LittleBigPlanet in the chat to tell me how I'm messing this whole thing up. Alright, focus on player. Where is it? Wait, focus on player. 0% player tracking. The player is not the player. The pinball is the player. The player is fake. The player isn't real. Alright. Now we need to delete the old one, recapture the new one. Oh my god, this is getting repetitive. Alright. Pause the game, delete the old one, unhide everything, and go back in here. While I'm in here, I'm actually going to go ahead and fix this. See, we have a problem here where... Yeah, see, this doesn't need to be a remote tag sensor anymore, because this doesn't create a rigid connection if I were to wire into this circuit board. So I can take the X button and completely eliminate the plunger tag. So we've eliminated a communication between two objects by effectively moving this microchip into one object. So this one goes into the NOT gate, and then into the input of the timer, and then that'll fix that issue with the piston. But I completely forgot to do the thing that I came in there to do in the first place, and that is reset the emitter. So emitter... choose object, some kind of object. And... there we go. Don't know why I opened my Poppet twice. There we go! It works! And so does the plunger. What the hell happened? What? What? Do I need to be in range of the camera for it to stay in focus? I mean, it is at least respawning, which is good. I completely didn't even know I made a Portal reference. Anyway, so this is another camera issue we've run into. And also I see Scully is back. So awesome. Welcome back. Radius of camera is need to be very, very big. I'm hoping that there's an infinite option. I know that earlier in the stream I did mention that you should avoid infinite range sensors at all costs. But unfortunately in this case, we don't have a choice. We need it to be an infinite range. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What the? Let me test something here. That input action is grayed out, which means that there's nothing wired into the input. But there should be something wired into the input. There should be this tag sensor. Okay. I'm realizing that the input doesn't even matter. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, so it looks like... Wait, what? Okay, now it is wired in. What? Why in God's name is LittleBigPlanet smoking right now? That is strange. So there's no player cracking, there's no... what is this tweak? I've not looked at it before. What is this? Zone. Why do I need a zone? I mean, I guess make it as high as I can. I think realistically that should be fine. Okay. No, whoa, my god, what the hell is happening? I just want to see, though, does it actually... Nope. Okay, so there's... This is frustrating. Why does there need to be a zone? Why can't I just, you know, have an input on the camera and, you know... Unless it needs to be... Nope. So one shot, and I'm kind of at a loss as to why you can't have... Recording PSP videos is a little more complicated, I think. I don't know too much about it. I believe there is some sort of adapter you could get back in the day to get video out of it, and it was an official Sony thingy. But I don't have experience with that. Yeah, and then there's the camera trick, that always works, but if you want to get actual, like, true screen recording out of a PSP, I can't help you. Oh, man. I have a problem with the game camera right now. See, I'm having an issue where I can't keep my player in the zone of the other option, though. The other option would be to slap a follower onto this thing. An infinite range follower. So what that'll let me do here is it'll let me keep the player... I'm losing my train of thought, but what this is gonna let me do is it's gonna let me keep the player connected, or not connected. It's gonna keep me in range of that camera. So if I set the strength here to 100% and the movement speed to 100%, I should theoretically be able to go ahead and set the detection range to infinite and layer range to 16. And then I should be able to follow a tag. and just have it follow the pinball. And all we need to do, effectively, is... I just deleted the... No, I didn't. It's still there. Okay, so what I need to do, effectively, is go into the controlinator and... Or not. Let's pause and make sure that this thing is set to its dynamic physics mode. There we go. As you can see, it is now working! Except for that problem. There is a problem where... Okay, I know how to fix this. What we need to do is we need to untie the player controls from the emitter. So we take this board here, and I'm gonna put a new circuit board in place. What happened there is when we died, our player was suspended in midair, because, you know, we lost our pinball, we had nothing to follow, and when we respawned the pinball, it was not in the plunger area, and also we didn't get any sort of signal to track the pinball again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new microchip here on the side of the level. Now, I really shouldn't be putting game logic on the level geometry. That's not a good practice, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to take these 3 items and I'm going to move them into the new chip that we created. Oh god, which one's which? It's looking like this one's going to be the right one. Yep. Okay, so... let's just make sure that this chip got it. So this has the emitter on it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ball here, and I'm going to make sure that I reset the place where it gets emitted. Alright, that works. So that unties that whole thing. Another thing we might need to move over is not this. That actually doesn't need to be touched. What we also need to do is we need to create a way to make sure that this follower is only active when the pinball is in the level. And the reason we need to do that is we need a new signal to get the follower to reactivate when it loses its target. I don't know why that's the case, but oh well. So this is going to be a remote tag sensor. It's going to be set to pinball. And we're going to wire that into the follower. So it's going to deactivate the follower when pinball isn't in the level. Oops. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it popped right back into place, which is good. So we can get into preview mode here, and go back in. And we die, and we respawn here. Now, another thing that we could do is we could implement lives. Now, the way lives work is pretty simple. We get out of preview mode, and we're going to go into our controlinator. And what's going to happen is we're going to use the controlinator in combination with that other chip that spawns in the ball. And the other chip that spawns in the ball, that's going to call the shots here. So we're going to have this chip open next to the controlinator. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a counter in here. Whoops. Alright, let's reopen that. We're going to have a counter inside this chip here with the emitter. What's going to happen is we're going to... Let's see, is there a good way to do this? We're going to have the counter count up. And when it reaches its max value, it's going to activate a selector. So we're going to set the max value to the amount of lives we get. Or the amount of lives we get to have. So, what's going to happen is this signal, this NOT gate signal, is going to go into the counter. Counters are one shot by default, so that's good to go. Now what's going to happen is we're going to put a selector on it. It's going to be 2 ports. And we're going to wire the output of the counter into port 2 of the selector. So what's going to happen is when this counter hits its max value, it's going to select the second port of the selector. And what we're going to do is we're going to have an AND gate on that. So the second port of the selector is going to go in the first port of the AND gate. And the NOT gate is going to go on the second port. And then I'm going to disconnect this emitter from the NOT gate. Actually, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another AND gate here. And what this is going to be set to is it's going to have the NOT gate on port 2, and it's going to have selector port 1 on port 1. So this AND gate here is going to fire if we don't have a pinball and we still have lives. And this AND gate, I really need to sort this whole thing out here. Give me a second. Okay, so we have our remote tag sensor. It detects our pinball. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So we have a remote tag sensor that it detects our pinball, and then it's going to be wired into this NOT gate. So this says, okay, I don't have a pinball in the level. What do I do? Well, if we don't have a pinball in the level, we're going to end up in this, end up incrementing this counter. And when this counter reaches its max value, we're going to end up selecting port 2 of the selector, which, when that happens, is going to cause... Okay, so we're going to have these AND gates. I'm going to rotate them like this. Okay, so this first AND gate is active. I have them in reverse. Oops, so... When we lose our pinball, what's going to happen is one of these AND gates is going to activate. And then, based on which one is activated, we're going to either fire the emitter off, which is going to be on AND gate number 1, or we're going to destroy the object, which is going to which is going to be on AND gate number 2. Alright? And what that's gonna do is it's gonna cause the player themselves to end up dying. Because when you destroy an object that the player is controlling, the player dies. So I'm gonna wire this destroyer into the second AND gate here. And what that'll happen is eventually we'll have a checkpoint active on the on what am I? I'm losing my train of thought. I'm very tired right now. What's gonna happen is we're gonna have a checkpoint that eventually, you know, will respawn the player when the player dies. And that's going to... Actually, wait, no! I know why I got confused. I got confused because I'm about to destroy the level geometry. I don't want to do that. I want to destroy the player's controls, which is why I had the 2 circuit boards open. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this tag sensor here. It is going to be wired into red. And this is going to be labeled Game Over. Also, I will read chat very soon once I get this implemented here. I'm just very focused. This is the type of thing where I'm dealing with, like, complex logic that's hard for me to narrate. So, I'm gonna wire this into the second AND gate. So this is our game over condition. We've run out of lives, and we've died. Okay, so what do we do when we get game over? Well, we destroy the player, which is gonna cause the player to restart, or to respawn at a checkpoint, which is good. That means that that checkpoint is going to be over top of the scoreboard in the level, and, you know, the player's gonna be able to see their points. So I'm gonna set this to game over. And then this is gonna be wired into a destroyer. Okay. So that's how that all works. So let's try it out. So, in theory, we should have 3 lives. This is live number 1. Number 2. Number 3. And we die. So that's how that all works. And the way we get it to Whoa, my god, what the hell is happening here? What the hell is happening with this piston? Oh my god. It's actually kind of fun. I know what happened there. What happened is we destroyed the player, of course. So we're gonna make sure that the player is, you know, back where it should be. So it's right there. And when we die, we're going to make sure that we respawn at some sort of scoreboard. So, I'm gonna move the level spawn point over into this area here. Now, I do believe I may have to go very soon. It might be supper time soon, and unfortunately I cannot keep a live stream going when there's food at the table. So I will have to end this off soon, but at least we have gameplay elements in this pinball game. Now, I would gladly recreate, or I would gladly continue the pinball game if you guys would like. But for now, we're going to get the ending of the level done here so that we can just, you know, get things going. So what I'm gonna do, actually, is I'm going to increase the radius of that controlinator to a very large amount. This one right here. Instead of it being 50, I'm gonna set it to, like, something incredibly massive. Yeah, that'll do. That's probably overkill, in fact. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it static physics. Now, this is where static physics are really great in LittleBigPlanet. Because it means that we don't have to do the weird LittleBigPlanet 1 thing where we have to somehow move the checkpoint to the scoreboard. We can just keep the checkpoint in midair, and as long as we catch the player before they hit before they hit the scoreboard, we can start the level. When they die, they'll respawn at the checkpoint, and then you'd be able to... I lost my train of thought. Be able to fall down into the scoreboard area. So we're going to create that scoreboard area now. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to grab our white plastic with no bevel. Also, I saw in the chat, is this LittleBigPlanet 3? Yes, it is. I have LittleBigPlanet 2, the collector's edition, but unfortunately my disc is... It was on the fritz, and then it died on me, unfortunately. I haven't tried it since the last time that I used it and had it black screen on me, but to my knowledge right now it is dead, so I can't play LittleBigPlanet 2, unfortunately, and it sucks because it's a collector's edition disc, which means that it has value. Not only that, but it's a physical copy, which means it has even more value because you cannot buy LittleBigPlanet 2 on the PSN store. But anyway, I'm going to create this little area here. Alright, so we have this area. What's going to happen is we're going to have our scoreboard in here, and we're going to go into play mode and actually test to see if this all works. That's where we're going to end off the stream for today. After making sure that everything is working and that we can actually, you know, interact with the level, play it, and we have our gameplay. I'm realizing that this would work a lot better with 3 layers. Okay, there is an easy way to fix that. The way we fix that is we go in and we actually split the level up. Using the slicer. This is a quick and dirty fix to the solution, or fix to this issue, but if we slice these materials apart, we can detach them, and, you know, make it look a lot better. There we go. So in the grand scheme of things, nobody's gonna notice that. But the idea is here that we are hopefully gonna capture the player long before we hit the scoreboard. And then when we die out of this controlinator here, we're gonna respawn at that checkpoint and then fall into the scoreboard, and that's the end of the level. So let's give that a test. Let's make sure that works. Okay. So. Okay, I was reading chat for a second. Alright, so let's plunge ourselves into the level. Boom. Hopefully we land. So, we're on live 1. Now we're on live 2. Live 3. And it works! We got no points, but it worked! So that's gonna do it, pretty much. Now we can add music, which I will do. I I will add music to this because I like you guys. So the way this is gonna work is we're not gonna use interactive music. This is a small level. We're not gonna indicate any progress to the player. So we're gonna pick a... This is where I might get claimed. I like infotain me. I'm gonna go with that. And make sure that is not visible in play mode. I don't think I have music enabled in play mode. I do not. Or I do. Why isn't it playing? Okay, LittleBigPlanet. Whatever floats your boat. I tried to add music there, but it didn't quite work. Put the LittleBigPlanet 1 music, please. Alright, you guys want LittleBigPlanet 1 music, don't you? Alright. Alright, I'll bite. Because I have to fix the music anyway. So I'm not gonna have it on the board. I'm going to have it on the controlator active pin. Alright. I want you guys to tell me in chat the name of the song that you guys would like me to put on. It has to be under the regular music category, so not interactive or cinematic music, just the regular music. And there's a level design reason for that. So go ahead and let me know in the chat what song you guys would like me to put in the level. Left Bank 2. Alright. Now, I'll warn you guys that might get me copyrights claimed. It has before. So in future streams, I will have to mute the audio. But, I think this is okay. I need to find the song. There it is. Okay. So I'm gonna put this on the board, and because we are immediately capturing the player, it's not gonna have enough time for the game to actually, you know, detect the player. So instead of it being player detection based, I'm going to have it wired up to the active pin on the controlator. Left bank 2 input. So let's save and see if it works. And it works. Doesn't really fit with the Avalonia theme, but... So yeah, we do die. We're able to control the plunger. And we do get a game over. So yeah, that's the basic gameplay of our pinball game all done. And that's where I'm going to leave it off for today, because I am running out of time here. I will be doing another stream this Saturday, and I mean it this time. I will be streaming on Saturdays. That's my regular streaming time. Today was special simply because on Saturday I actually overslept, and I could not have avoided that. My alarm just never went off. By the time I woke up, it was well beyond where I would start the stream off. And I couldn't do it Sunday because I had server maintenance to do, which I still have to do. But by the time Saturday rolls around this week, I will be able to stream at a regular time at 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's where we're going to continue this level off. We're going to We're going to actually make the level decent. We're gonna add more bumpers. We're probably gonna add some sort of mission or something. I don't know. I don't know what we'll add. I'll plan that out before the stream. But for now, this is what we've done is we've created a way for the player to control the game, and we've made it work. Um, the bumpers, I don't know what's going on with them. They're messed up. I probably should have checked into that. But oh god. Okay, let's not. So we've made the bumpers work. We've made a death area work so that when the ball hits the bottom of the level, we respawn. We've made it so that we have 3 lives, and when we run out of lives, the game will automatically respawn us over at this scoreboard here, which will tell us how many points we've won. And that's awesome. We've made the plunger work. The bounciness of the ball no longer causes the plunger, or no longer causes the ball to bounce off the piping and result in the ball falling back down to the plunger. That's awesome. These bumpers, when we hit them, they give us points, though there is nothing else for us to bounce off of, and so we end up getting a game over anyway. That's what we're going to fix in the next stream. But anyway, that's going to do it for this stream. I'm really happy you guys, especially you guys from Trixel, decided to come by and give this a watch. And if you guys would like to keep in touch after the stream, of course there is the Trixel Creative server, but there's also my own Discord server, which I'll be posting frequent updates on projects I'm working on, both in LittleBigPlanet and in actual game dev. And I won't be sneezing on you. That's something I won't be doing in my Discord. But if you'd like to join my server and check things out, we definitely do need members, and I would love to have you guys over. So there is a link at the top of the stream's description that you can just click. It's going to redirect you to the invite link, and it's going to get you into the server. And then I will see you guys there. That's going to do it for this stream. As always, I've been Michael. Yes, A Shifter, our moderator, has put a link to my website, but there is a red button on that website, but if you want a more direct URL, we're gonna go https://aklnthdr.dev/discord, and then that'll do exactly what that button does. So yeah, I'd love to see you guys on the server, and with that said, that's gonna do it for this live stream. I've been Michael. As always, hope you learned something, hope you enjoyed the video, or hope you enjoyed the stream in this case, because it's a live stream. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern are my usual streaming time, and of course, if you join the server, you will be notified as soon as I decide to go live. And I already see some of you guys there, so I'm really happy. Anyway, that'll do it for this stream. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. It's gonna say that I've gone offline because I'm gonna end it on OBS first before I go to YouTube, so anyway. So yeah,